My name is Caleb Morrison, and 4 years ago, the woman I was supposed to marry walked out of our apartment with a half-packed suitcase and a note she couldn't even say to my face. The note was sitting on the kitchen counter beside her engagement ring. I remember staring at it for almost 10 minutes before I finally picked it up because some part of me honestly believed it wasn't real. That maybe this was some misunderstanding, some emotional reaction, something temporary. But it wasn't. The note said, "Don't hate me for this. I just can't keep struggling while everyone else is moving forward. I need stability. I need certainty." That was how 7 years ended. Not with a conversation. Not with tears. Just 4 sentences written by someone who had already emotionally left, long before she physically walked away. Her name was Vanessa, and in 5 days she was supposed to become my wife. Everything was already prepared. The venue had been paid for months earlier. Flowers ordered, guests arriving from different countries. My sister flew in from Germany just to help organize everything. My mother spent weeks making handmade decorations because she wanted the wedding to feel personal. Meanwhile, I stood alone in our apartment looking at a wedding tux hanging in the closet beside a future that no longer existed. At first, everyone tried comforting me. "She made a mistake. You'll find someone better." She chose money over love. That last one was true. Vanessa left me for her boss. Richard Mercer, 46 years old, wealthy, powerful. The kind of man who traveled by private jet and wore watches that cost more than my yearly income. And honestly, that part hurt less than the look she gave me before leaving. It wasn't guilt. It wasn't sadness. It was pity. Like she genuinely believed I would never become anything more than a struggling musician chasing unrealistic dreams. That look stayed with me longer than the breakup itself. At the time, I was producing music for small artists, creating commercial jingles, and performing late-night sets at bars where nobody listened unless they were already drunk. Vanessa used to tell people she admired my passion, but eventually passion stopped impressing her because passion doesn't always pay bills immediately. And fear changes people. I didn't understand that back then. All I understood was humiliation. 3 days after she left, I had to cancel our wedding. That was one of the hardest experiences of my life. Calling vendors, losing deposits, hearing awkward silence on the other end of the phone from people who didn't know what to say. Even worse were the sympathetic looks from friends and family. People think kindness always helps. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes pity feels heavier than cruelty. A week later, Vanessa posted pictures online with Richard. Luxury restaurants, yachts, expensive vacations. Every photo looked polished and intentional, like she wanted the world to know she upgraded her life. And maybe she thought she did. But something changed inside me during that period. Not anger, not revenge, clarity. I realized I had spent years waiting for people to believe in my potential instead of building something undeniable. So I disappeared. No parties, no relationships, no distractions. I stopped chasing validation and started studying business with an obsession that honestly scared even me sometimes. Marketing, licensing, ownership structures, branding, digital media. I learned everything I could because eventually I understood something important. Talent can create income. Ownership creates freedom. That realization rebuilt my entire life. I started small by licensing music for online creators and podcasts, then streaming companies, then advertising firms. The money wasn't glamorous in the beginning, but it grew consistently, and consistency compounds faster than emotion. Within a few years, I built one of the fastest-growing media licensing companies on the West Coast. Funny thing about success, though, the same people who once called you unrealistic suddenly start calling you inspiring. The same relatives who doubted your choices start asking for business advice. And the same woman who left you starts watching your social media stories late at night. I noticed Vanessa's name appearing more and more online. Silent watching, silent curiosity, silent regret. But she never contacted me. Not at first. Then one afternoon, 4 years after she left, my assistant walked into my office and said, "There's someone downstairs asking for you." I asked who it was, and she said, "Vanessa." I remember standing near the glass windows overlooking the lobby and seeing her waiting there. She looked almost the same. Same dark hair, same posture. Same woman who once looked at me like I wasn't enough. Except this time she looked nervous. When I walked downstairs, she turned toward me slowly, and I watched her expression change the moment she realized who I had become. Not because of the expensive office, not because of the tailored suit, because confidence changes a person in ways money never can, and she noticed immediately. We sat together at a cafe across the street from my office while rain tapped softly against the windows, just like the night she left. At first, the conversation felt awkward, careful, like two strangers trying to speak around a shared history too heavy to touch directly. Then she finally admitted why she came. Her marriage to Richard had failed. According to her, the wealth she chased eventually became a prison. She said he controlled everything, what she wore, who she spoke to, what she posted online. She traded emotional freedom for financial comfort and didn't realize the cost until she felt trapped inside it. Part of me wanted to feel satisfaction hearing that. But honestly, I mostly felt distant. Pain changes shape over time. Eventually, heartbreak becomes memory instead of injury. Then she told me something that stayed with me for days afterward. She said, "I think I left because I was scared." Not scared of me. Scared of instability. Scared of repeating her childhood. Her father spent years promising success, while her family slowly lost everything financially. She watched her mother work endlessly, trying to hold their lives together. And somewhere deep inside herself, Vanessa started believing security mattered more than love. Fear made the decision. Not logic. Not even greed entirely. Fear. That conversation complicated everything I thought I understood about her. Because it's easier to hate someone when their motives feel simple. Real people rarely are. Still, when she slid a business proposal across the table later that afternoon, I realized something important. Some habits never fully disappear. Opportunity still existed in her thinking. Calculations still live beneath emotion. So I refused the offer, politely, firmly. And when she asked if things could have been different if she stayed, I told her the truth. No, because I wouldn't have become this version of myself otherwise. Weeks later, she appeared on a podcast interview online. The entire internet started talking about it. She publicly admitted leaving the man she loved because fear convinced her security mattered more than loyalty. Then came the part I never expected. She revealed she had been pregnant shortly before leaving me, and that she lost the baby shortly afterward. When she finally told me that in person one night outside my office building, it felt like the ground disappeared beneath me. Not because I wanted revenge anymore, because suddenly the story wasn't simple anymore. She wasn't just the woman who abandoned me. She was someone carrying grief alone while pretending she made the right choice. We talked for hours that night. Honestly, for the first time in years. No ego, no anger, no pretending. And before she left, I told her something I didn't even realize was true until I said it out loud. I forgave her a long time ago, not because what she did was acceptable, but because carrying bitterness eventually poisons the person holding it. People think winning means destroying the person who hurt you. Sometimes winning is quieter than that. Sometimes winning means becoming someone pain can no longer control. And maybe that's the real lesson in all of this. Vanessa thought she was leaving behind a struggling musician. What she actually left behind was a man moments away from becoming himself.